I love long walks in the woods, riding in your pickup truck, hunting, camping, fishing trips, cozy winter nights, lying by the fire. Candlelight dinners will have me eating out of your hands. I'll be at the front door when you come home from work, wearing only what nature gave me. Call 404-875-6420 and ask for Daisy. I'll be waiting. Later on that week, over 15,000 men called this number, which happened to be for the Atlanta Humane Society. Daisy was an 8-week-old Labrador Retriever. Daisy, this is a true story. Daisy was an 8-week-old black Labrador Retriever, and the horny men somehow overlooked that part, and 15,000 men called asking for Daisy. In the musical Company, which I've never watched, a man falls in love with a woman and sings that she will, listen to this, the man falls in love with a woman and sings that she will need me too much, know me too well, pull me up short, and put me through hell. Let me read that again, because I think I feel this way about women sometimes. Need me too much, know me too well, pull me up short, and put me through hell. Nonetheless, this man insists that only romance will give him the support he needs to come alive and keep him alive. The man in the musical Company goes from one draining relationship to the next because it is his salvation, the only way he can feel alive. So he has this disdain toward romance, and yet it's like you can't live with him, you can't live without him. And he keeps going from one draining relationship to the next. Last illustration. In the song Bewitched by Ella Fitzgerald, a jazz musician, jazz singer, this woman admits in the song she has fallen for a fool. She has fallen for a fool. And he will let her down. But she doesn't care. Because, quote, I'm in the wild again, beguiled again, a simpering, whimpering child again. Let me read this one more time. She says, I'm wild again, beguiled again, a simpering, whimpering child again. What is she saying? I know he's going to let me down. I know he's a fool. I know he's a jerk. But he makes me come alive. So it's worth it. It's worth the risk. Each singer, each person in these stories, each people in the story is over-dependent on being in love. That is the common thread in all three stories. They are over-dependent on being in love. Without some romantic relationship of some kind, even if it's the wrong kind, their lives feel empty and meaningless without love, without romance. In our society today, love or romance has become an idol. What is an idol, you might ask? What is an idol? An idol is anything more important to you than God. An idol is anything more important to you than God. So much that it absorbs your heart and imagination more than God. It absorbs your imagination and heart more than God. Anything you seek to give you what only God can give you is an idol. The first commandment says what? You shall have no other gods before me. Why did God tell us in Exodus that you shall have no other gods before me? I am the Lord God Almighty. You shall have no other gods before me. Why? Because God knows that if you love anything more than Him, you will ruin your life. If you love anything more than Him, you will ruin your life. Now, a lot of us think that idols are bad things. Know what I mean? We think that idols are bad and negative and heinous. But idols are actually good things. Good things. Like a successful career, love, material possessions, and even love. If you make these things into the ultimate thing, it is an idol. But what's wrong with having a successful career? Nothing. What's wrong with getting married? Nothing. What's wrong with graduating college? Nothing. But if you make it your ultimate thing, you will become undone. Because it will be your master, and you will be its helpless slave. The greater the good, the more likely we are to expect that it can satisfy our deepest needs and hopes. The greater the good, like the American dream my parents had when they came to this country, the greater the good, the more we expect it to satisfy our deepest needs and hope. And I like to dub our idols counterfeit gods. And love is one of them. Love is a counterfeit God, because love is one of the very best things in life. Money is one of the very best things in life. There's nothing wrong with them, but they have become counterfeit gods. I want you to take a second and think about the idols / counterfeit gods that may loom and intrude in your life. You know, these counterfeit gods, for me, you know what a counterfeit God is? For me? It's for my parents to go to heaven. There's nothing wrong with that, right? What's wrong with wanting my parents to go to heaven? Is there anything wrong with wanting my brother to go to heaven? Is there anything wrong with wanting my brother to love me? Is there anything wrong with wanting you guys to love me? No, there's nothing wrong with that. But when I make it so central and essential to my life that if I should lose it, or him or her, that my life would hardly feel worth living, I'm in trouble. I serve a counterfeit God. There's nothing wrong with me wanting the things I just aforementioned. But if it's more important to me, it's more central to me than God himself, then if I don't get it, then life will hardly seem worth living. If you have ever looked at something or someone and said in your heart of hearts, if I have that, if I have her, if I have him, then I'll feel like my life has meaning. Then I'll know I have value. Then I'll feel significant and secure. Then you are engaged in worship. But you're not worshiping God. You are worshiping that idol. If you ever felt like, if only I have him, if only I could get her to love me, if only I can get this career started, if only I can have this much money, if only I can get my parents' approval, then I will be happy. You are engaged in a form of worship. 3 weeks from now, it will be Black Friday, and there will be throngs of people engaged in worship, spending 8 hours overnight to be first in line to get a computer, to get an Xbox, to get a PS3. It is worship. Worship is to gladly reflect the radiance, the worth of the object or person. Anything can be an idol. Anything. Anything can be an idol. And everything has been an idol. Anything can be an idol. And everything has been an idol. My preaching has become an idol to me at times. Me doing the ministry, me serving God has become an idol, a counterfeit God, a lowercase God to me. But it's good. What's so bad about preaching? What's so bad about loving you guys? Nothing. Until I make it the ultimate, the supreme satisfaction of my life. It replaces God. What I'm trying to say to you guys from the Samaritan woman's example and in Jacob's life is that today, I think within most of us, there is emptiness. There is emptiness which thirsts within us. There is an emptiness within you and me which thirsts. It is a bottomless hole. And why is it there? because we have worshiped